Episode 9 is set to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of people are truly looking forward to seeing in this movie is exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize the characters of Kylo Ren and Rey in this story, and exactly what paths they will actually take on in this movie, and exactly what Kylo Ren's endgame will be, as well as, of course, where Rey will end up being by the very end of this movie. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with J.J. Abrams, Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, and even George Lucas. Specifically, it's described that one of the sequences that George Lucas offered guidance to J.J. Abrams for was the lightsaber duel between both Kylo Ren and Rey in the third act of the film. It's described that George was on set during the months of December and January for 2 days per month, offering guidance on the choreography and lightsaber moves between Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver. It's described that George even directed small bits of the duel, as well as leading advice and lending advice to JJ. It's described to be the most important lightsaber duel in Star Wars history, as it holds great meaning behind what's driving both Kylo Ren and Rey as characters. Now, let me go over a couple of parts about this. Now, this definitely does fall directly in line with how the duel between both Kylo and Rey is actually said to have prequel trilogy choreography elements to it all. I don't know if you guys heard about the footage descriptions just a couple of days ago about what was shown by Disney to the actual shareholders of Disney that got to see footage of Episode 9, one of which included Rey literally doing a front flip in mid-air with an ignited lightsaber. So you can already tell that they're adding in a lot of those prequel trilogy moves by, of course, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi that will be present in Episode 9, which, you know, I believe it's going to be something quite poetic to the point where this duel is going to mirror of what we already saw at the very end of Revenge of the Sith. So George Lucas being on board for Episode 9, I know that we went over this a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people were talking about it. It is very intriguing for sure that they wanted to get George back for a couple of scenes involving Kylo Ren, Rey, and even Luke Skywalker in order to really make this Star Wars movie feel true to both the hardcore fans, casual fans, and even new fans alike around the world. So we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm are using this movie as a course correction in the sequel trilogy, not just for the Star Wars community, but also for the box office, right? Ever since Solo: A Star Wars Story, they want to make sure that this movie does very well, because let's face it, the box office results of Solo actually affected the future of the Star Wars franchise and what was actually set to come for the fans and, of course, by Disney. So when we look at Disney and Lucasfilm, I always question myself on whether or not it's truly genuine that they wanted to have George Lucas back on set to provide guidance to J.J. Abrams to lend some advice, as well as directing some little bits here and there for scenes involving Luke Skywalker, Kylo Ren, and even Rey. That's my biggest question. Is it genuine, or is this an act of desperation by Disney and Lucasfilm in order to really gain the trust of Star Wars fans around the world? So like I say, it really did all start with George. You know, if it wasn't for George Lucas, we wouldn't have Star Wars today regardless. You know, whether you're into the prequels, the originals, or even the sequels. Regardless, if it weren't for Lucas himself, we wouldn't have Star Wars today. So that I'm truly proud, truly proud for, that George was able to really introduce this amazing franchise to us all, and it all began back in 1977. So, like I say, this is a very important movie for Disney and Lucasfilm, and it's only a great way to honor George Lucas, to have him be a part of this story. To a certain extent, it may not be super significant, but at least he was somewhat of a part of Episode 9, to the point where we will see some elements of what he did in the prequel trilogy and in Star Wars: A New Hope. And that's one thing that I'm truly looking forward to seeing. So, like I say, we do know that this movie has a lot going for it. We do know that this movie is actually considered to be a big movie and longer than the usual Star Wars film, which is really, making a lot of people question themselves on whether or not that means that this is going to be the longest Star Wars movie in history. We do know that Disney and Marvel are actually aiming for Avengers Endgame to be 3 hours in running time, and that's not an over-exaggeration. Like, literally 3 hours is going to be the running time apparently for Avengers Endgame. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they chose to do the same exact thing for Star Wars Episode 9, since this movie will have a lot of flashbacks, visions here and there, as well as new stories about the past of certain characters, like Luke Skywalker, Snoke, Leia, Rey, and even, of course, the Kylo Ren. Now, looking at everything else here, guys, I gotta say, I'm very fascinated about this movie. We got 27 days to go until Star Wars Celebration, as well as 280-some days, I believe it is, until the release of the actual movie on December 19th of this year. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, from night to moon, we hear them moans again. No.